promo code Amy.
I see my name in shining lights, yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. It's a live show. You can call into the studio at 312-642-5600. And, of course, contact our fantastic sponsors, Tandem HR, by visiting their brand new website, tandemhr.com, or give them a call, 630-928-0510. So we have a jam-packed lineup. Indeed, jam-packed studio as well. Some fantastic guests, and you're going to learn a lot about some very interesting businesses. And hopefully learn quite a bit about entrepreneurship and some other great topics as well. But first up here in the studio is my good friend Becky Galvaz from Shop for Ties, a fascinating company. If you're like me and you love accessories, or even if you don't love accessories, but you love the story of an amazing family business, Becky, your family has been involved in this industry for, I believe, over 30 years. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Shalom. I appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely. So I'm always fascinated by family businesses and businesses with such a long track record and history. Tell us briefly about your family and how you ended up in the custom apparel space.
Sure, yeah. So 1982, my dad turns down an offer to buy a tie store on Michigan Avenue and decides to go on his own and do custom neckwear. So he opened it up in 1982 under Corporate Textiles. Back then, we didn't have the internet around, so he was advertising in airline magazines like American Airlines and United. Kind of pioneered the whole idea of going overseas, started in Korea, manufacturing neckwear in Korea, sending faxes, and that was the start of it in the basement of his house in Highland Park, Illinois.
And many of those customers are still your customers today, but you are the CEO, and you have been taking things to the next level. So tell us a little bit. I know it's more than just neckwear and ties. I know these days you're also doing scarves and even Hawaiian shirts, I understand. So that's fun.
Yeah, so we do ties, bow ties, scarves, and about 7 years ago we incorporated Hawaiian shirts. So it's all custom Hawaiian shirts. Everything we do is custom made. It's B2B. Our minimum order starting at 30 pieces up to thousands and thousands. So working with different, companies and schools. And yeah, we're doing it all these days.
And you're probably seeing the next generation of some of your customers and clients as well.
Definitely. One of our largest customers, a company out of Kansas City, who actually do all the promotional gear for Rotary International. So they're on their 100th year of business, but fourth generation son-in-law is taking over the company.
So let's jump to that. So family business, I know your mom is still quite actively involved in the business. So tell us a little bit about the roles and responsibilities, and frankly, how does that work?
Yeah. We've had to work through a lot of things. My mom is now the CFO, so she is my 50% partner and the CFO, and I'm the CEO, so very different roles and responsibilities. After the passing of my father, it took a while to separate out who was going to do what and who was in charge of what, but she's taken a little bit of a backseat in the sense of doing the back of the house stuff, and I do the front of the house stuff. We've worked through a lot, and we're at a very good place now.
Amazing. So now that we've talked a little bit about how the business operates behind the scenes, tell me why a company would want to use your services. Why would somebody want custom neckwear? How does that help their brand and their messaging?
Sure. So I guess if you could think about, the promotional products industry is a billion dollar industry, right? Billions of dollar industry. A lot of people want something that's going to help them stand out, create unity, proudly brand them, and custom neckwear is just another way to do that. It's kind of like a step up of a way to create uniformity, but with pride. So, yeah.
What's the most interesting order you've received?
Oh, wow, the most interesting. We see a lot of interesting orders. I mean, everyone's tastes are so varied. Something I might say, I don't know how anyone could ever put that on their neck. We get comments back of like, that made our event or that made our group or our team the most exciting and, exciting team out there. I'm not sure of one. Just one.
Stumped you.
You did stump me. Absolutely.
That's great.
We see such variety in colors and designs and what people are looking for.
But there's some pretty hideous ideas out there.
There are absolutely hideous.
Hopefully your customers aren't listening right now, but creative and Shop for Ties, Becky and your mom, the whole company. I know that you've had a lot of your folks working for you for a long time. I'm sure you've seen it all. So are your customers good at staying in touch and sending you pictures?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's a bit of a struggle at times to get people to, send things over. But we get all this great feedback, and we've had customers, like, you said, for decades and decades. And they're all really excited about it. And I'm like, hey, how about that group picture that you guys took? Yeah, we're going to get it to you. And so it's a little bit of nagging. And then when they do it, they're really excited about it.
I'm sure you have an eye for things that a lot of other people don't. And so when you're traveling, and I know you travel a ton, you notice everything on airlines and you notice things. So tell me, Becky, where do you see this industry going, and where do you see, I guess, what advice do you have for companies that are out there, even smaller companies, in terms of how they can develop a brand? And feel free to go beyond the custom neckwear and Hawaiian shirts of that. What branding advice do you have?
I mean, I think one of the best things that my dad ever did was come up with a company that's very niche. So there's a lot of companies out there trying to do it all, right? We get requests all the time. Hey, can you do our sweatpants or our shirts? And I'm like, no, but I have amazing contact for you who does it really well. And so this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it really well. So I would say one thing I've learned is don't try to be a company that does it all, but do what you do really well. Take care of your customers in that way and create really strong relationships with other companies where you become vital to your customers. You're not just a transaction, right? It's really, really relationship oriented. And they can turn to you and say, hey, now I need this. Can you help me out with that? And you do. You become a really important resource for them.
Well, that's great advice on two fronts. Great business advice, staying focused, and certainly good networking advice. And you and I have spent quite a bit of time talking about that. Maintaining your network, constantly knowing if you can't solve an issue, knowing who can. It's 2018. So many companies are spending their dollars on digital advertising, digital marketing. Is spending dollars on apparel still important?
Absolutely. I think 100%. I think it's a way that it's not, we're all digital, but we also come together and we go to events and we go to, different get-togethers. And it's a way for you when you're there to create it that not, to show it, and not everyone is on their phone or on some piece of technology for you to be able to see it. But it really brings people together and creates a sense of unity that when you're together, it's like, oh, we're all in this. Or, when it's the same thing kind of when you're at a conference or in a big city and you see someone. I was just at a conference last week and there was 2,200 of us and everyone's wearing the same scarf. And it's like, oh, great. Now we can talk because we're all part of the same group and experiencing the same thing. So I absolutely think it is still important.
Fantastic. Well, Becky, you have a ton of advice for entrepreneurs, certainly a lot of advice on marketing and branding. So I do hope that our listeners can get a hold of you. We are running out of time. So I want to make sure that people can learn more. Shop for Ties, not hard to remember, but what's the best way for people to learn more about your business?
Yeah, I mean, you can get in touch with us if you look at Shop for Ties, so SHOP 4ties.com. All of our emails are up on there. You'll find our Facebook and all of our other pages that way.
And is there a final question? Is there any order that's too small or an order that's too big?
There is no order that's too big. We fulfilled all orders into the tens of thousands of pieces, but the minimum we'll do on ties and scarves is 30 pieces and Hawaiian shirts is 50 pieces.
Well, get those orders going and don't just order the Hawaiian shirts. Take them and go to Hawaii. We'll talk about maybe taking it easy in business in one of these upcoming weeks. Great advice, fascinating company, and I should have mentioned Chicago-based business. Very, very exciting. We love to support our local companies. Becky Galvaz, CEO of Shop for Ties. One more time, if you could share your website.
Sure. www.shop4ties, TIES.com.
Fantastic. And we'd love to have you back on the show to talk about progress in business and changes, because you certainly, there's nobody that knows it better than you and your team. So thanks for coming on the air. As I mentioned earlier, I encourage all of our listeners to get in touch with our fantastic sponsors, Tandem HR. We call them our solution center for a reason. There are so many changing regulations in the Affordable Care Act, in everything relating to small business and hiring, and you cannot, and I emphasize, you cannot try to solve all of those regulatory concerns and challenges yourself. That's why you need to talk to the experts at Tandem HR. They'll give you a free consultation if you mention Get Down to Business. So give them a call, 312-642-5600, and check out their website, tandemhr.com. They have a wonderful blog, lots of great information. And again, set up that meeting, set up that free consultation. You will not regret it. Tandemhr.com. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk staffing with Matt Fields. Don't want to miss it. Don't touch that dial, Chicago. You're listening to the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship.
How can you get